Muitas pessoas querem encontrar as próximas moedas que deem um lucro de 100 vezes o retorno. No entanto, muitas pessoas compram criptomoedas quando estas coisas aparecem.
Our viewers who may not know anything about this, what are cryptocurrencies?
They're a type of digital money, but instead of being controlled by a central government, they're decentralized using blockchain technology. Prices have been soaring for cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and especially Dogecoin.
Oh, right. Now, what is Dogecoin?
Well, it actually started as a joke based on an internet meme, but now it's taken off in a very real way.
Okay, but what is Dogecoin?
It's an unstoppable financial vehicle that's going to take over the world.
I get that, but what is it, man?
To the moon!
Pois é, agora é um momento muito melhor para se envolver em criptomoedas. Se você já tem o seu top de altcoins de qualidade, então partilhe a sua lista top 10 de projetos de criptomoedas em baixo, porque eu vou partilhar o meu top aqui neste vídeo. E como sempre, amigos, isto não é um conselho financeiro. Tome as suas próprias decisões e certifique-se de se inscrever aqui no Mentes Milionárias se você estiver interessado em ganhar dinheiro com criptomoedas, porque seguir o Mentes Milionárias é uma fantástica maneira de se manter informado. Ok? Então vamos lá. A moeda número 1, ocupando um lugar especial, é a Agora. Até o diretor do SEC, Gary Gensler, aqui neste vídeo, reconhece Agora como um vencedor do Prêmio MIT.
Sylvia McCally's Algorand, who's a Turing Award winner at MIT that I work with. Sylvia's got a great technology that has the performance you could create Uber on top of it.
Algorand foi lançado oficialmente em 2019 e procura alcançar velocidades de transação aceleradas em redes blockchain e reduzir o tempo que as transações levam para ser consideradas finais. Algorand busca alcançar estes atributos por meio de decisões que se desviam de como as criptomoedas foram tradicionalmente projetadas.
So we talk about execution. I want to talk about what we are executing on every day and what our team goes to battle with every single day to improve. And it's these three things up here. This is our strategic priorities. Core protocol properties, programmability, interoperability. If you were at the Cypher last year, you would have seen the exact same three strategic priorities. Why is that? Because these are the brass tacks. This is what it takes to succeed. If one of you comes up to me after this and says, hey, look, I'm thinking about starting a blockchain, what do I need to be thinking about? I'm going to talk to you about these three things. Every single day, making them better. They don't get done. You continue to improve them.
O próximo projeto de qualidade de criptomoedas que continua a ficar maior e melhor é Avalanche. Ela é uma plataforma blockchain que visa abordar o dilema do trio da blockchain, escalabilidade, segurança e descentralização, graças ao seu único mecanismo de prova de stake, o POS. Resumindo, Avalanche é uma plataforma blockchain avançada que promete recursos de dimensionamento extremos e tempos de confirmação rápidos. Os desenvolvedores estão trabalhando no dimensionamento de inovações como subredes que permitem que os projetos se conectem à Avalanche sem ocupar espaço. Outra razão pela qual estou otimista com a Avalanche é porque eles acabaram de lançar um programa de incentivo de 290 milhões para subredes. Isto se concentrará em trazer usuários e adoção para a Avalanche através de jogos DeFi, NFTs e Enterprise. Assim, a única outra questão é o que são exatamente as subredes da Avalanche e o que as torna tão poderosas para que as instituições estejam tão interessadas em se incorporar nela. Bem, vamos ouvir o CEO de Avalanche explicar isso mesmo na Nasdaq.
Tell me about Avalanche's breakthrough with the concept of subnets. What is that and how are they made possible?
Absolutely. Subnets is one of the principal ways in which we scale. There is never going to be a single chain that can conquer all of the load that is incident on it from all of the different kinds of assets. With a subnet, what one can do is they can have an application-specific chain. That application-specific chain can be compliant, can be subject to US rules, can be subject to whatever jurisdictional measures are necessary. So this is the kind of thing that's required when large asset holders want to digitize their assets. So we provide them with the full control they need, but we also provide the users with a single unified interface.
Agora, se você gostar de Cardano, Então, deixe-me saber nos comentários abaixo. A Cardano entra na minha lista. A Cardano é uma plataforma blockchain para inovadores, agentes de mudança e visionários com as ferramentas e tecnologias necessárias para criar possibilidades para muitos, bem como para os poucos. E assim também trazer mudanças globais positivas. Vamos ser específicos porque Cardano realizou muito ao longo do último ano e tem grandes planos para a inovação no futuro. Então, obviamente, 2022 foi cheio de inovação, viagens e eventos, mas vamos dar uma olhada em alguns dos números. Tim Harrison, VP da comunidade e ecossistema, disse o seguinte:
2022 was a landmark year for the Cardano ecosystem, and it was all because of you, the community. A global movement of developers, entrepreneurs, and even artists built new solutions, businesses, and experiences on rock-solid foundations. From the earliest beginnings in 2015, from Byron and Shelley to Gauguin and Basho, you, the community, ensured the continued growth and success of Cardano. In 2022, our academic community had 8 Cardano-focused research papers accepted and presented at major global conferences, while IOG researchers presented 39 papers covering all aspects of decentralized technology. Over 7,500 students participated in the Plutus Pioneers program worldwide. 2,000 students could call themselves Atala Pioneers, and over 2,500 signed up for our Haskell bootcamp to begin their journey into functional programming. On top of this, we launched a new Marlowe Pioneer program to introduce the world to a powerful new way of launching smart contracts. Cardano developers have always been some of the most dedicated and active. 2022 was no different. This translates to over 56,500 commits across 272 repos on GitHub. During the same time period, we reached over 58,000 wallets registered to vote in Project Catalyst. To date, Catalyst has allocated over 38 million in funds to bootstrap and support projects building all over the world. Over 1,100 projects have been funded from 91 different countries, making Catalyst a truly global decentralized innovation fund. The network processed over 50 million transactions between over 3.5 million wallets. There are over 3,000 stake pools operating on 6 continents, and over 71% of ADA in circulation is staked. While the network grows, so does the community of developers. Currently, there are 11,000 developers on IOG's technical Discord server. More than 4,700 smart contracts have been deployed, 1,100 projects founded, 7 million native tokens launched, and over 2 million NFTs have been minted. At the same time, we continue to see projects building in Africa. Project Catalyst has fully funded 47 pilot projects throughout the continent, and ICE Addis identified and incubated 9 entrepreneurs working in the African marketplace. In 2022, entrepreneurs and developers from Tanzania, Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria and more worked on creating solutions for everything from remittances and microloans to education and healthcare.
Outra razão para ser otimista com a Cardano, ou talvez negativo, porque algumas pessoas amam Charles, algumas pessoas não gostam dele, mas ele é um forte líder para o projeto Cardano e ele não tem nenhum problema em falar das coisas menos boas do espaço.
Certainly A16Z and others are like, Cardano. But you know, the problem is that we didn't...
Why do you think that is?
Because we didn't have any Ponzonomics for them. I mean, let's be honest here. The vast majority of VCs, let's just be honest, the way they approach it is liquidity. So they say, when is the token coming out? Where's the marketplace for the token going to be? Do I get an early distribution? How do I exit that early distribution when the retail people come in? And you've seen numerous layer ones and dApps, we won't name names, where they launch to market at a very high valuation, the insiders dump, they go down, and they walk away with a lot of money.
Agora vem a Cosmos. Certamente uma das melhores moedas neste espaço hoje em dia. Anunciada como a blockchain da internet pela sua equipa fundadora, Cosmos pretende criar uma rede de redes de cripto unidas por ferramentas de código aberto para simplificar as transações entre elas. É esse foco na capacidade de personalização e interoperabilidade que diferencia o Cosmos de outros projetos. O seu objetivo é promover um ecossistema de redes que pode compartilhar dados e tokens programáveis e sem nenhum partido central, facilitando assim a atividade. Então, por que CoinBureau está otimista com o Cosmos? Veja só.
I think it's an amazing project. I love Cosmos. I love I love this idea of interoperability. I think the project is there's some really cool tech there. There's a great team behind it, and also, I must say, a really good community behind Cosmos as well. So I would certainly look to pick up some Atom, start staking it straight away, because there are some, there's some amazing returns on staking Atom at the moment.
E ainda mais do que isso, até Vitalik Buterin, o fundador da Ethereum, recentemente disse porque é que ele respeita Cosmos.
I think the Cosmos ecosystem, for example, I deeply respect it because it is one of the few that's actually trying a very different region of design space. And, they have this vision of, a larger number of blockchains. Each of those blockchains has a smaller number of validators. They use these protocols to talk to each other. And they give up on shared security, but they give up on tight coupling, but they have modularity. And I really respect the fact that, they have a technical vision. They push the technical vision first. They, in my view, have not been pump and dumpy. They have not done any, they have not bought any stadiums. They, have not put the face of their founder up on cylinders all over San Francisco. So that's something I respect.
A moeda da Binance é a próxima moeda que faz parte da minha lista. Claro que a BNB está em grande parte dependente do sucesso da Binance como exchange e da sua liderança. Mas com tantas entidades centralizadas explodindo ou fechando ao longo do ano passado, CZ e a Binance até agora têm feito um ótimo trabalho. Mas claro que tudo pode acontecer. Aqui está a CZ falando para a comunidade no encerramento do ano.
Yeah, there's a lot of firsts. I think the first that jumps to mind is a number of countries, 33 new countries this year. And I also met a few head of states, many regulators for the first time, many users, communities for the first time. The industry dealt with a few first problems we faced this year, so there's quite a lot of firsts. If all Binance users want to withdraw their funds at the same time, will Binance go bankrupt? Short answer is no. It will be completely fine. We have more than 100% reserves on every single coin that we hold on behalf of our users. So feel free to withdraw at any time if you have any concerns. We'll be good. Thank you, Renato. Yeah, so I would say there's three things that's very valuable. I think number one is always be ethical. So never touch ethical boundaries. Never move user funds. Never go on debt. Don't do things that hurt your users. Always do the right thing. Even though we're managing a very large number of user assets, we sleep very soundly. We know we're doing the right thing. I think number two is build strong teams. I think at Binance, we've been very lucky that we have a very strong team. Number three, I would say, is to be in touch with the people, the community. It includes the users, the angels, the KOLs, the regulators, even the traditional financial players. So I think those are the three things I've learned that help Binance become very successful.
Mina é a próxima criptomoeda de ouro que entra na minha lista hoje. Mina diferencia-se de todos os outros protocolos, tendo o blockchain mais leve com apenas 22 KB versus mais de 30 GB das outras cadeias de blocos. Outro diferencial da Mina é a sua tecnologia ZK na camada base. Mas vamos apenas manter as coisas simples aqui e um dos fundadores do protocolo Mina, Evan Shapiro, vai falar sobre porque é que as cadeias de blocos leves são importantes e porque é que Mina é uma de analisar.
What's the advantage of a 22 kilobyte blockchain? Because I know that is obviously one of the things that so many people point to when they get excited about this project. What do you think the practical advantage and excitement around that is for you all?
I think there's a short-term and a long-term one. The short-term one is that when you as a user are using an application like the one I just mentioned, you can get full access to Mina's blockchain and submit this proof in a fully trustless way without having to, in the process, basically reveal all this to like an inferior or some other middleman. This really gives you that full end-to-end from the user, privacy and trustlessness you would want for that kind of application. Mm-hmm. In the longer term, though, I'm more excited about just what this could mean for the centralized future for cryptocurrency. I imagine this technology could be used to help Mina always stay extremely accessible to everyone. And in 5 years from now, when these blockchains are 5 times as big as they are now, when they're much harder to access, Mina will still be really small and accessible permissionlessly. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that's an asset today when we think about how hard it is to sync to chains even now. Mm-hmm. But it'll be increasingly so as these chains get larger and we need some way to get decentralized access to these ecosystems.
Outra coisa que eu gosto do protocolo Mina é a sua interoperabilidade. Isso também é algo que eu gosto sobre Polygon e nos leva assim à minha próxima escolha. Mina está indo para o Polygon. Mina e Polygon estão trabalhando na construção de uma ponte que irá permitir a construção de aplicações por desenvolvedores em Polygon para alavancar a privacidade e a verificabilidade via o protocolo ZK-SNARK da Mina. Vamos lá então rever o ano de Polygon. Eles tiveram em muitas coisas ao longo do ano passado com a adoção do mainstream. O seu acelerador Disney, a parceria com o Facebook, a parceria com Starbucks, mais de 90 milhões de transações bem-sucedidas, Magic Eden, que é o mercado da Solana, Uniswap e muitos outros contratos inteligentes implantados e, claro, Robinhood. Também propriedade digital para jogos, centenas de milhares de criadores de conteúdo a bordo, a próxima classe de desenvolvedores com um total de 200 milhões de endereços exclusivos. Uma solução para escalar tão boa para a Ethereum e para as criptomoedas. Assim, muita coisa está acontecendo e este é um impulso que eles estão trazendo para 2023. E assim, a seguir temos a Monero, uma criptomoeda privada descentralizada que mantém as suas finanças confidenciais e seguras. De todas as moedas de privacidade, Monero tem algumas das mais fortes adoções do mundo real.
What's the significance for you that Monero is dominating or at least trending to domination on the darknets?
For me, there's really two main things to grab from that. I mean, one is that people who understand the need for privacy and who are generally not tech savvy are adopting Monero. The second big piece that comes with that is that we do get this like thorough testing of Monero because of its use, its growing use in the darknet markets, and its growing attention from governments, law enforcement, etc. I think it continues to prove that Monero works and works very well today.
Acho que isto continua a provar que a Monero funciona e funciona muito bem. E agora temos a Filecoin. Ela entra na nossa lista também. A Filecoin procura habilitar serviços abertos para dados. Então, aqui estão 3 dos principais recursos da blockchain e 2 atualizações críticas do protocolo que ancoram esta escolha por Filecoin.
Filecoin actually, if you kind of use that lens to understand Filecoin, it seeks to enable open services for data. And this diagram here is something that we found ourselves, particularly useful to anchor the mental model. So if you look at the top part here, you have 3 main off-chain capabilities. And, these are what we call as like open services. We have made a lot of progress on the storage markets, which is something that everyone is very familiar with. And then probably, most of you guys in the community are also familiar that we have been making, tremendous R&D effort and progress in retrieval markets, basically being able to enable hot storage and also CDN quality, kind of like retrieval. That's really important to unlock, a lot more use cases. And lastly, of course, the large scale compute over data. As like a very important capability and third pillar here. And then if we look at this lower section here, there are 2 very critical on-chain protocol upgrades that enable and really uplift and enhance, like the capabilities that I've mentioned above. And the first one that you are very familiar with and it's like imminently on the horizon is the launch of the Filecoin virtual machine, basically introducing programmability to the protocol. And then there's another piece around what we call interplanetary consensus. Again, there are several working groups, working on this right now and a strong R&D effort. And this effort is around like how we can scale so that, we can go on to, like being able to support the scale that is required to build even Web 2 applications in a Web 3 way.
E assim chegamos à minha 10ª escolha, que é a Chainlink. Você gosta de Chainlink? Você descreveria ela como o AWS da blockchain? Eu gosto da Chainlink e gosto do Sergei Nazarov, que é o cofundador. Ouça Sergei descrever o valor da proposta da Chainlink que ele traz para a mesa.
What Chainlink does in this very early stage of our industry, that I do sincerely believe will secure hundreds of trillions of dollars over the coming years, is provide infrastructure. So we don't make any end user applications and we don't make any blockchains. We don't make a blockchain. We provide all of the decentralized services. So decentralized services are akin to APIs. So in the web economy, you have applications and used by users. That's what DeFi is. You have the core code of an application. That's the code written by its developers. And that's what a smart contract or a set of smart contracts on a blockchain are. And then you have services, Twilio, Stripe, Google Maps, GPS location data, a number of other examples. Those three examples, together with core code, make something like Uber, right? So unless you have Twilio to send text messages to drivers and riders, unless you have Stripe to pay the drivers, and unless you have the Google Maps location API to get access to the location of a rider, even if you write all the best core code in the world, you won't build Uber, right? You need the location of the user, you need to communicate with the user, you need to pay the driver. And that is really what we do on the Web3 decentralized services level. So all of the Web 2.0 services, AWS services, Twilio, Stripe, all of these services, we either repackage them or reinvent them for the purposes of smart contracts being able to use them. Because smart contracts cannot use them. Smart contracts cannot access any external payment system. They cannot access any data. They cannot access anything like Twilio. They require essentially a secure middleware with consensus. Now, right now, we have over 800 Oracle networks. We're going to be approaching over 1,000 Oracle networks, and we're going to have thousands of Oracle networks sometime soon, I think. And that basically means that the universe of services that can be combined with core code by developers will continue to massively expand. And when that expansion happened in the Web 2.0 world, you had a massive explosion of innovative new applications, such as Uber. So our goal is not to build end applications. Our goal is not to build the platforms on which the core code runs. There's a lot of those platforms. Our goal is to create all of the decentralized services.
Ok, então este é o meu top 10. Só para recapitular, é claro que a maioria do meu portfólio é Bitcoin e Ethereum. Mas estas são as minhas top 10 moedas para 2023. Algorand, Avalanche, Cardano, BNB, Nina, Polygon, Monero, Filecoin e Chainlink. E já agora, não se esqueça de subscrever o canal porque coloco conteúdo todos os dias sobre o mundo cripto para mantê-lo informado sobre o mercado de criptomoedas. Meu nome é Rui Ludovino, tenha um dia fantástico.